All right. So, hello, I am Jason. I am the wizard, and I am here with Vera Ostrova. And Vera's stage name is Sonse. Is that correct?
That's right.
Sonse. And what does that mean?
Solnce in Russian means the sun, and
The
it's
s-
a
the
it's a
sun.
name. Yes. Mhm. I adopted this name for my music. I was looking for something shorter, and a friend started calling me that, and it kind of stuck with me. And it makes me really happy when I say it. It kind of lights up my third chakra.
Well, I mean, that's the beauty of the sun, right? It
Hmm.
lights up the environment. You are a sound healer. You are a musician, and also a graduate of HMI, the hypnosis, or is that right? The Hypnosis Motivation Institute,
Correct.
based in Los Angeles.
Hmm.
And tell me, how did you get into being a sound healer?
I've been a musician since I was 6 years old. My
Hmm.
background is in classical piano and opera, and I just always loved music. In my 20s, I worked in EDM industry, which is electronic dance music. I thought it was at the time very revolutionary in how music was changing into electronic. And I thought it was so futuristic. And I dreamed about working in there and got really lucky. I worked really hard and got to work with Armin van Buuren, who is one of the biggest DJs in the world. And I released a song with him called What If, which is a song about reincarnation, actually.
Hmm.
And it played all over the world in all the clubs. So you know how that feels. It's a great experience. And then over time, through my own soul searching, I found certain spiritual practices that changed me. And that was not enough anymore. So I was looking for other outlets to express myself musically. And when I discovered sound healing, I just knew it was it
So
because
that was a way of putting your spiritual practice into your musicianship then.
it's marrying them. It's blending
Mm.
hypnotherapy, sound, taking care of people. Because there's so many things you can do in your sound healing sessions. It's not only about sound; it's about
Mhm.
healing. So I love it.
What kind of things?
Well, different sound healers use different instruments. Also, you can combine meditation into sound healing, breath work, something I'm going to be getting certification in. Right now, I signed up for a bunch of online certification courses. It's a great time to do that.
Hmm.
And also shamanic practices, which is I'm also a big fan of.
Hmm. Where you said that you started off as a musician in opera. My dad was an opera singer, and
Awesome.
so he loved opera like so much that that was like the only music that he could listen to, or that
Hmm.
we could listen to when he was there in the house. So it's like I grew up kind of like resisting opera a little bit, as
Hmm.
far as I am a musician. I'm like a self-taught musician, and started
Okay.
off in like punk rock and rock, and then gradually just taught myself classical and all these things. But it was because of that opera and the classical music that I would hear as a kid that it trained me too. As far as like
Hmm.
I knew the classics and all. So were you singing it?
Yes, I was when I was 8, 9, that age, I was in the National Opera House in Uzbekistan. There was a department for kids
Hmm.
because certain operas like Carmen, they require children choirs, and we trained there, and it was so much fun. And I just at that early age, it helped my voice to form.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I'm very grateful. But yeah, I wouldn't probably be able to listen to opera right now. It takes I think a certain taste.
Yeah, it's something about the highs and lows too of it.
Uh-huh.
It's so dramatic,
Mhm.
like especially the Italian operas and all. I don't know about is there like an Uzbekistan like opera, like famous composers or anything from Uzbekistan, or were they?
They were mostly using Russian or
Yeah.
Italian.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Like those classics.
Yeah, most of the operas in Uzbekistan, it's a mixed culture, so Russian was a very common language. It was actually the main language at the time.
Yeah.
So the operas were in Russian.
Yeah, it's interesting too how one, looks to move towards those areas of music that one resonates with deeply.
Mm-hmm.
One can be trained in a certain way, and that training, it's not bad, right? To have that discipline at an early age, because you can transfer that discipline over into other areas, but those areas where you have more resonance with, and so it sounds like you've found like more of a resonance with the vibration of healing.
Mm-hmm.
I see that
Mm-hmm.
you're surrounded by the singing bowls, the gong,
Mm-hmm.
and these are powerful instruments. They're, if you go into sound healings and all, you can feel those vibrations just passing right through you, right? And they're doing work on you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what when did you like just find that you gravitated towards like those particular instruments?
It was only about a year ago. We well, I'll go a little deeper.
Hmm.
Um, I've been in a few ayahuasca ceremonies, and the music that you hear in those states, in those ceremonial states, it kind of opens up this different world for you of the healing power of music. Although I've heard about kirtan before, I know quite a few chants. Uh, when I lived in Boulder, Colorado, I would go to kirtan, and it was fun. Uh, but not until I sat in a ceremony where I really felt so moved by music and voice and the power of those Icaros, those Peruvian songs, ceremonial songs, that it was so clear to me that music heals. And I had a completely different perspective. And then a year ago, about a little over, my friends and I formed a band called Shamanitas, and we wanted to sing healing songs for people. And we've had a few, about once a month, we did ceremonies where we would play instruments and sing and do meditations and hypnosis. We all went to HMI. And the reaction that I saw from people and how they were coming in and who they were when they were leaving, like just their hearts opened up. It was life-changing for me. You can't just, it's hard to explain that when you know something, you know it. Like that's what you want to do. And then just recently I got a bunch of instruments right before the lockdown. Actually, these came from China. So I've been sitting and discovering how to work with them, and a lot of times I'll go into trance just working, studying this and learning. I'll come out of my own little practice as a changed woman. So
Hmm. That's like the fringe benefit of it, is like you you
yeah,
you get to heal yourself by playing
absolutely.
that instrument.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I treat all of this with a lot of respect.
Yeah.
I I open my circles when I practice, even for myself. I open my circles and I call in the guides, the plant medicine spirits, and just see what comes up. And it's powerful.
Yeah. What kind of venues, as far as you were talking about the shamanitas, what kind of venues were you playing, or it becomes less of like a performance and more of a ceremony,
Yes,
right?
it is. It is. It's kind of half and half. It can be fun. And that's another thing I love about this is that I am in my core a performer,
Hmm.
and it is a performance,
Hmm.
but with a purpose. So the last venue we played was Be Crystal Clear. It's a relatively new sound healing space in Santa Monica. If you haven't been, I highly recommend it. It's
Yeah, I haven't
beautiful.
been there. That's in downtown Santa Monica.
Yes, it's on Broadway.
Hmm.
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous space. So we played there. We rented out a yoga studio a couple of times.
Hmm.
So my goal is to contact yoga studios mainly because that's a really good space to do these things.
Yeah, and that's where the community will be open,
Right.
towards a sound healing, a sound. Do you call them sound baths?
Sound baths, yeah.
Where that sound just washes over you.
Yes.
The vibration can kind of break up things within you. Any
Mhm.
kind of what do you call it? Disease or disorder or disharmony, or what's the terminology that you use as
I
far as
call
what?
it energetic blocks,
Okay.
so the things can flow. It depends on where people are and what they need. But what I love about it too is that whatever you come with personally for you,
Yeah.
if you have a good, that intention of releasing, you'll release it. It's not, there's no rules or anything. You don't have to have experience or come in with any specific request. Even if you don't know what you're coming with, it'll come up.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's it's kind of like a tarot read too.
Yeah.
It's like some people will have a very specific idea of like why they're there, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's just like an uneasy feeling, and they just need,
Mhm.
like, they need some reassurance, for
Correct.
the path
Mhm.
forward. And we let the cards like have their say, and that usually is where the source of someone's unease is, and it sounds like it's a similar process, that energetic healing.
Mhm.
What's your favorite? The gong, the bowls, all of it?
Honestly, I love them all, but my favorite remains voice.
Ah.
Voice, human voice has such a great power. And
Hmm.
when you sing those songs that um, Icaros or chants, mantras that people have been singing for who knows how long, and just thinking about all that energy accumulated in that prayer, when you really put your heart into it and you sing it, it has a profound effect.
Yeah.
Yourself or hearing sing or being in the presence of the song being born or sang sung sing song.
It can be very personal too.
Yeah.
It's like um, I find that when someone is singing, and if you either gravitate towards their voice, you say, oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm hearing the feeling, I'm getting the full sensation of what they're trying to express. And some voices, they don't do it a thing for me, but there are ones that just like you hear it and it's just like, oh my God, what a great voice. It's just so expressive, and you can hear all the details of it. And
Yes. Mhm.
I think you're right about that. Plus it's a vibration, within itself too. I mean, as someone who has produced a lot of Om chants, on my own, it's like uh, pretty early on, I recognized the healing properties of the human voice. But at certain vibrations and all, they too are soothing. They're healing,
Mhm.
and it's a powerful instrument,
Indeed.
and one that is not to be used lightly,
With respect, yes.
with respect for that too. And it's
Yeah.
like, I find that if I'm playing the Om or oming, it's always about honoring the self and all. One doesn't just do it in places that uh, where it's not the proper context for it.
Hmm.
It's not like a party
I see.
trick.
Yeah.
It's like somewhere that can be more of a ceremony, or I've been doing these Om gatherings online, and we find that because of Zoom, the limitations of Zoom, it's like we have to like kind of silence everyone because it will start to pick up everyone, and then it just like it doesn't know to just keep it all in balance. It's like looking for the highs and lows, and it's just like it sounds choppy and all, and it's not that pleasant an experience. But when people at this time, when there's like this uncertainty, what I call the lockdown or the
Mhm.
quarantine. What did you call it earlier?
I said it's a great pause.
A great pause.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like everyone in the world is experiencing the great pause. It's there's a lot of uncertainty is about where someone is moving towards,
Mhm.
and it can be a very uh, good release, to to do a chant, to do something that it's this vibration that as you intone it, that vibration is soothing you. It's relaxing you. It's um, putting you into an altered state, into a
Absolutely.
hypnotic state.
Hmm. Yes, absolutely. And, just knowing what Om, that sound vibration means, that is a sound of creation. It's a very ancient sound. When you
Mhm.
tune into that knowledge as well, it kind of makes you feel connect to that very ancient energy. And, it makes you feel connected to your own kind of immortality, that everything is temporary, things come and go, even though in the moment it feels sometimes that this will never end, it will.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I love connecting to that kind of like a bigger picture, bigger sense of well-being, which is always available to us, because it's all is well. It's really all is well, it really is. But the uncertainty sometimes, uh yeah, it can be anxiety inducing.
Mhm.
Sure, I have my days. I have days when I feel uneasy. Being an empath, I can feel energies. But at the same time, I always try to come back to that center and to my own faith into something bigger than myself. That there is something going on that I can comprehend. And just to trust that we're all playing a part, and then that things will turn out for the better. Can we do that? I think if we can create that new reality.
Yeah, yeah. This is a good time to meditate on like who it is that you want to be in that new reality that's coming up. Utilizing your gifts, your talents, and hopefully a restored sense of self. Um, and speaking of playing a part, it's like you've got that keyboard in front of you, and it's just wanting to be like played. You have a piece called Om Namo.
Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm.
Anything that you need
Yes.
to tell us about it before you play it?
Yes. It's a song that I wrote recently, and I will be releasing it on May 3rd, which is my birthday. That's coming up.
Yay! Happy pre-birthday.
Thank you. For anyone who's listening, you can follow me on Instagram. It's sonce.music, SOLNCE.music. And I'll be posting about the song when I release it. I'll be giving it for free for the first month. And the song is about basically us human beings and how important we are, how important our existence is. That for each one of us to be born, so many things had to happen. For our souls to exist and follow our purpose. And the whole creation, God, universe, whatever you call it, basically lives this life through you, experiences this life through you. And that's not a small task. And I know, like, in this great pause, we have a chance to slow down and see that we're not just robots or people who just work all the time or trying to just keep up with a really busy life, that we all have talents and purpose. And a lot of people have been buying musical instruments I know that because my boyfriend works at Guitar Center, and so many people are buying musical instruments because they remember, oh, I wanted to play drums and never had the time. And anyway, this song is about that we are very important, that without our eyes there would be no light, and music wouldn't exist if we didn't have ears.
Yes. Yes.
And
Beautiful.
we are miraculous, really. We are.
All right. The spotlight is on you.
Woohoo!
Go for
Alrighty.
it.
The sun, it rose this morning because you're here. The moon, it shines all night because your spirit's near. The trees, they whisper to you, flowers blossom for you. The air is crisp for you, the ocean waves, they break for you. 'Cause without your eyes there'd be no light. Without your ears, music would not exist. Without your heart there'd be no love. Without your voice no one would be listening. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam. The mountain tops and oceans are full of light. It's all connected to you through the spirit's eye. Your dreams are in alignment, all your visions are true. This world is made for you. Reach out for the love inside of you. 'Cause without your wrong, there'd be no right. Without your doubt, there'd be no believing. Without your darkness, there's no light. Without your wounds, there would be no healing. Without your eyes, there'd be no light. Without your ears, music would not exist. Without your heart, there'd be no love. Without your voice, no one would be listening. Adgure name, Jugat Gure name, Sat Gure name, Siri Guru Devai name. Adgure name, Jugat Gure name, Sat Gure name, Siri Guru Devai name. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam.
Wow. That is a beautiful song. And your voice is beautiful.
Thank you. I'm glad you resonated with my voice.
Yes. Yeah. No, you know, the Zoom sound, you know, it's like looking to blend everything, you know, but what comes out, is like uh, it's a beautiful song. Thank you for playing that. And again, you're releasing that on May 3rd,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and through where again?
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp. And did they look up Sonsei
That music. Yes.
dot music?
Yeah. I'll be posting a lot of information about it on my Instagram. It's the best
Yes,
way to
yes, it
find out.
is.
Yeah.
Do that.
And then I'll post the links and everything. It'll be easy.
Fantastic,
Mhm.
fantastic. Um, what's your songwriting process? Do you write lyrics first? Do you write music first and then put lyrics to it?
I love this question. I love this question because I can tell that you know about songwriting and music.
Hmm.
It's a very musical question. Uh, I start normally with a good chord progression that's inspiring,
Yeah,
and then it's kind of magic. You know what
it's all
channeling is?
magical.
It's all magical. You know what channeling is? When you kind of get in a state of flow, and whatever comes out of you, it's sort of not you. You're just a vessel,
Yeah.
and your heart longs for it, and you're in the right space, and something maybe in life inspired you, or someone inspired you, or you heard some amazing idea about something. And for me, it just starts flowing. I usually will write, I'll start hearing a melody for the words, or the words will come at the same time. And then I usually will come up with a chorus, and then
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
verse.
Hmm.
And then I'll probably walk around for a couple of days. I'll make a recording on my phone of whatever came up. And then I'll walk around for a couple of days or a week, and then the second verse will arrive.
Hmm.
And my songs usually have a lot of words. I love words. So sometimes my second chorus will be different from the first chorus because I just want to put it all in there. Um, but it's a magical process. It's more of to me, it's like grace. There is no formula to it except for making an effort to sit down and play.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and to honor that process too
Yeah.
of creation.
Mm-hmm.
Without I find that some of the best songs are ones that are you don't try to pin it down too soon.
Mm-hmm.
It's still kind of free flowing, and then you find the chord patterns that really excite you,
Mm-hmm.
and then just allow for the lyrics to, if they don't come to you like at that point,
Mm-hmm.
where down the road,
Mm-hmm.
it'll be something that really stands out, and it's like, okay, that's the main theme of it, and then where you build on that. I've
Yeah.
found that there's a lot of ways to write songs that some songwriters will have their formats about themselves. Like if I for the vast majority of stuff that I've written music first, and
Mm-hmm.
then added lyrics to it. But sometimes you have like a lyric or some phrase, and it's just like, okay, and then you build around
Yeah.
that with
Mm-hmm.
music. um yeah, it's I always like to know, just like if someone has it down to a formula that it's like, yes, it's always this way, or if some songs just have a life of their own, and sometimes it can be a piecemeal where there's enough music to start, enough
Mm-hmm.
lyrics to get it going, but then what?
Yeah. It's kind of like a painting.
Hmm.
You might have like a base, and then you come back to it and add, take away, add.
Hmm.
And then if you are lucky to work with other talented musicians and composers, which is from my experience, then there's a whole new layer of work that adds to that.
Yeah.
And you collaborate on what sounds you want to use, what kind of message do you want to create with music itself, with the instruments. Look, for this song, we have sounds of a creek and birds chirping.
Mm.
So now we're creating this cinematic imagery with music as well, which is so much fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It is because you're evoking a feeling.
mm-hmm,
You're creating an environment with just sound.
mm-hmm, exactly.
I always felt that sometimes when like they started like marrying videos, music videos to songs, that it was taking our ability to imagine where we would like to be with the song, and just kind of like saying, no, this is what it is, and it was like taking away that a real special place where
Mm-hmm.
we go to when we're listening to songs, music.
Mm-hmm.
um you have a feeling about that? Anything?
Never thought about it, but um, I mean, there's so many different ways to listen to music these days. I think you can kind of choose for yourself. I remember being obsessed with music videos in the 90s, like, and the music videos were so interesting.
Hmm.
And these days, and they were so new too. And these days, I kind of don't care for them so that much, I guess, because there's no MTV, there's no one place where you can go. Everything's to me so overwhelming that I still kind of just listen to music and imagine whatever I want,
It's
or
not
I
just to
love playing
you.
it.
It,
Yeah,
it's like it's pretty overwhelming
it
just in
is.
general. But as a musician, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like you have your sources of inspiration. You know what the music, where it takes you, and yet to trust your audience, to trust the listeners, that they will take it where they need to go, especially with healing. It's like uh, the the when I have released an Om album in the past, and it goes out to the world. Some people will use it for a specific, like, uh, ailment that they have. That's where they're using it to work on, so that they're calming, either a physical problem, or and others will use it to go on a meditation trip. They'll use it for an adventure that they're creating in
Mm-hmm.
their mind. And if I were to try to lock that down, like at the onset, and say, you know what, this is just so that you can do this, you know then it would, like, you know spoil it for someone who's wanting to use it for something totally different. It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
use it for however you want to use it. But um, I love the process of creation of music.
Yeah, it's a feeling like nothing else when you are able to produce a piece and you just sit there in awe at that this came out of me, you know.
Hmm.
And I have nothing. I get overwhelmed with gratitude because I sense that it's like a collaboration with divine,
Yes.
and I really cherish that because good songs don't come to me very often. It's like having a baby.
Right. I wouldn't know what that's like, actually. Although I know that having the creative baby, right?
Uh-huh.
And
Well,
then,
I don't have children yet, but I can imagine.
yeah, and I think it's important too that when you have your creative child, is that you let go of it too, that you release it, you put it out into the world, that you don't just hold on to it
Hmm.
for yourself. That you'll always have it, you always have the memory of creation and all, but that you share it with
I
others.
agree. I agree. It's incomplete. Like this process is incomplete without sharing.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like it's like the logical step in it, is that you create something that has a vibration to it, and then you share it with those that can pick up on that vibration, who resonate with it.
Hmm.
Because the music is it's literally the soundtrack of our lives. And when it's we can use different types of music, like you were talking about how you've done, like the Russian techno, or the dance music, right?
Hmm.
Is that what you
Yeah.
called it?
Electronic dance music, yes,
Yeah. You know, that serves a purpose, right? It's like you
definitely.
go into like the discotheques and or the parties scenes, you know, all that, and you know, you create an atmosphere that people can move their bodies to, and it's like, you know, very very healthy in that respect.
Yes, when I released that song with Armin van Buuren, and I didn't know what was going to happen. And then I started to receive messages from people all over the world. Some of them, you know, they do go to clubs, the club culture. Um, I've heard from someone from Italy, from Spain, different people, and messages were so different. And this is where I realized that the song, once you release it, it will have a life of its own. It doesn't really belong to you. It belongs to people who hear it and if they can relate to it. And you know, the messages I've gotten for anything from "Thank you so much, it's beautiful, I love it," to uh, "I was having a really difficult depression, and your song helped me realize that I have more to live for." I was crying reading it. You know,
Yeah, yeah. It's like, and how do you bake that into the production of it? You know?
you just you just do it from your heart,
Yeah,
and then you let go.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. As we wrap up this interview, is there anything that you want to tell people, you know, as far as at this time of this great pause, you know, anything about the creative process, opening up the creative process, anything that you'd like to say?
Well, I wanted to thank you for having me. First of all, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
What an exciting opportunity. I would be at work right now, but
I'm
I'm
glad to
here.
like take you away from work. No,
Yes.
it's like we're all taken away from work.
Yes.
This
I
is our
think that,
work. This is our new
yes,
work.
yes. Just saying yes to things
Yeah.
is a good way to go about it. I think um, I know it's not easy. It's not easy because it's so new and you have to create these new routines. And some days you might feel productive and some days you're not. And it's totally okay. But this might be the only time we experience something like this as a whole world.
Mm.
And I think we're blessed with technology, even though it's overwhelming. There was at some point this sense of oneness that we experience. We're in this together. And I don't think it's going to last too long. And as far as creative process, um, just remember what you wanted to do as a child, if that's drawing or painting or music. If you're intimidated by music, pick up a ukulele. Anybody can play ukulele. You can start today. And just flow with it. Sometimes it takes some, you know, concentration and effort to just sit down. I get overwhelmed by setting too many goals, like, oh, I have to do this and this, and I have to play this by that day. But I found it better to just small steps, baby steps. Just sit with the guitar. Start there. And if you play a chord, great. If not, just sit with it, get to know it. So it's like any creative process. I think baby steps is where magic happens. And we can become like children. We can become playful instead of putting all this pressure on ourselves to like be perfect at something.
The best bands that I've been in are ones where, you know, it wasn't like, yeah, we got to like, you know, work this song until we know it and it's perfect. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's just like, just the fun of playing.
Mm-hmm.
When it was the fun of playing, those were the best bands.
Yes. And just
What?
allowing yourself to make mistakes, allowing yourself to make anything at all. You know, it'll grow into something else.
Yeah. One last question.
Mm-hmm.
When are you taking all of your sound equipment and going to the Integratron outside of Joshua Tree and
As soon
playing
as
there?
the quarantine is over, I'm going.
Yeah.
I hope so. But I mean, I already have a few places in Los Angeles that I have agreements with. So when this is over, I really can't wait to go and have my ceremonies. I'm going to be adding cacao and perhaps CBD ceremonies. And like I said, there's so many things you can do with this. So it is great in person. It's a lot better in person because you can really absorb the vibrations. But online, I've been doing stuff online too. It's good practice. It's still giving something to people. But hopefully this year I'll be playing it in Tegratron.
Fantastic, fantastic. Vera Ostrova, thank you for talking with me today. And again, on Instagram, if you go to Sonce Music,
Mm-hmm.
and it's SOLNCE
Correct.
Music.
Mm-hmm.
Have a blessed day, and also a safe time during this this great pause. And thank you again.
Thank you, Jason. You have a beautiful day as well.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.